Om Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavad Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Om. Dear devotees, we have been seeing Narada Bhakti Sutras. Bhakti is the eternal relationship between the eternal Jivatma and the eternal Paramatma. We, the Jivatma, as individuals, we are neither this body, nor this mind, nor the Karna Sharira, which is a container for our subconscious tendencies, samskara, and then the papa punya, the karma phala, the merits and demerits of the actions that are done. So the karna sharira is the container for these, and we are not that also. So we are, as individuals, reflections of pure consciousness on the individual body-mind complex. When we say body-mind complex, we include the three bodies. The Sthula Sharira, physical body, Sukshma Sharira, subtle body, and Karna Sharira, the causal body, which is basically the container of Karma Phala and Samskara. So, these are all integral part of Prakriti, nature, and these are completely integrated with the rest of the universe. So, identifying them as individual body, individual mind is only a notion, and the reflection of individual of the pure consciousness on this individual body-mind complex is what is the Jivatma. So, the body-mind complex is the reflecting medium. Original consciousness is Atma, pure consciousness. And the reflection, the reflected consciousness is the Jivatma. Now, our goal is to first give up our identity with this body and mind and identify with the Karna Sharira, and then give up the identity with the Karna Sharira and take over the identity as the reflected consciousness. Then give up the identity of the reflected consciousness also and identify with pure consciousness. This is the steps. Now, by the time the person gets into bhakti, we assume that the person has already given up identity with the body-mind complex and he identifies with the Karna Sharira. So he says, I go from birth to birth, punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam. Then he gives up that identity also in complete surrender to Ishvara. Ishvara is the reflection of the pure consciousness on this whole universe. Just as individuals, we are reflections of consciousness on this particular body-mind complex. Ishvara is a reflection of the same consciousness, pure consciousness on this whole universe. When we say I, we mean this small part of this whole universe. Whereas when Ishvara says I, he means the entire universe. The entire universe is what he means when he says I. So Ishvara is real, he is there, he can be transacted with, and in fact, every transaction in life is transaction with Ishvara only, because there is nothing that exists in this universe other than Ishvara. So God is not a matter of belief, God is a matter of understanding. If we understand the definition of God correctly, it is not a matter of belief. With open eyes, we are seeing God. Whatever we see in this universe is God only. And the consciousness associated with this whole universe is what we call as Ishvara. And he transacts with us, and he interacts, he responds to prayer. So, by this, we get into the next level of bhakti. And as we proceed on this, Ishvara says, he will give the knowledge of pure consciousness. We don't need to worry about it. We need to expose ourselves to the Vedantic teaching, and automatically the aha moment will come and we will realize, oh, this is what I am. Right? So basically, if we know the true definition of the word consciousness, then that itself is liberation. So the word consciousness, Chaitanya, Shuddha Chaitanya. So knowing the correct meaning of that word is, as ourselves will understand, it is our own real nature. So that is moksha, mukti, liberation, nirvana, kaivalya, everything is the same. That is the goal. So Krishna says, Etu sarvani karmani mayi sanyasya matparaha ananye naiva yogena mam dhyayanta upasate. So when your eyes are open, when you are transacting with this world, Etu sarvani karmani mayi sanyasya matparaha. So matparaha is important. God is the goal, world is not the goal. Worldly prosperity is not the goal. That is a means to achieve God, not the goal. The goal is Ishvara. The goal is realizing our truth, realizing the real nature of Ishvara, realizing our relationship with Ishvara, complete surrender to Ishvara. That is the goal. Mat paraha. And then, with that as the goal, Etu sarvani karmani mayi sanyasya. So offer all the actions to Ishvara, because it is Ishvara who is appearing in front of us as this world. This world is not different from Ishvara. This world is Ishvara. And all the work which we do in this world, he is the beneficiary. The beneficiary of all actions, whether we go and buy some grocery for our family, or we do some work for our profession, or we do some social service, or we do some puja. Now, all the actions, the real beneficiary is Ishvara alone. Every transaction in our life is a transaction with Ishvara in that form. Ishvara comes to us in the form of various people, various living beings. Everything is Ishvara only. So, if anyone asks you, have you seen God? You can boldly say, I am seeing God every moment. With open eyes, you see God. With closed eyes, you meditate upon God. The Narayana Suktam says, Yaccha kinchit jagat sarvam drishyate shruyate piva. Yat cha kinchit jagat sarvam. Whatever in this world, drishyate shruyate piva. Whatever you see, whatever you hear is Narayana only, is the Lord only. There is nothing other than God. So, you are seeing God every moment of your life. You just have to accept it. That's all. So, God is already being experienced every moment of life. Now, this Ishvara, with open eyes, we serve as this world, and with closed eyes, we meditate. Etu sarvani karmani mayi sanyasya matparaha ananye naiva yogena mam dhyayanta upasate. So, with closed eyes, you meditate upon the Lord with full concentration as much as possible. And if you do this, then your mind will get into a state called aveshita chetasam, mayi aveshita chetasam, a mind fully soaked in the Lord 24/7. And then Krishna says, once you have that, once you develop that mind, then I will take care of the rest. Right? The Lord will give the true knowledge of pure consciousness as the Atma. He will show us the knowledge that Paramatma and Jivatma are the same. That knowledge he will give by himself, and he will save us from samsara. So this is what the Lord says. So the entire bhakti sadhana boils down to how to develop this Mayi Aveshita Chetasam. So Ishvara Aveshita Chetasam. Mind completely soaked in Ishvara 24/7, while continuing to do all the duties of life and all the basic necessary rituals, meditation, all these things you do for Ishvara Priti. Now, that is the way of Naradiya Bhakti. World is not the goal, God is the goal. But world is the means. Do all the duties in the world, do all the required religious duties, not for any worldly or heavenly gain, but for Ishvara Priti. All these things will purify the mind and it will lead to Ishvara. So this is the what we have been seeing, and this Narada's way, Sri Ramakrishna has summarized as the 5 disciplines: Satsanga, then Viveka, discrimination between permanent and transient, and then Nama Japa, constantly chant the name of the Lord, and then Karma Yoga, do your duties with detachment, and then Dhyanam, meditate in solitude. So we have seen this in detail, and Narada Bhakti Sutras, we have seen the first 8 chapters. So today we will see the last chapter, the 9th chapter. It is called Ethical Virtues and Worship of God. What is covered in this chapter? Argument about bhakti is useless. Bhakti should be practiced. It should be experienced. Virtues should be cultivated. God should be worshipped. God will respond back. And then various attitudes towards Ishvara, and that this entire Narada Bhakti Sutra, whatever has been described, has been unanimously agreed by all teachers of Bhakti, and those who practice this will attain God. So this is the summary of this chapter. The Sutra 74 and 75, they say, Vadaha na avalambyaha. So, arguments, you should not get into unnecessary arguments and disputes about spiritual path, bhakti, all those. Why? Bahulya avakashatvat. So, bahulya avakashatvat. Aniyatvat cha. Aniyatvat cha. So bahulya avakasatvat means there is scope for diversity, there is scope for multiple ways, multiple levels, right? We have seen different levels of bhakti. See, usually the argument about bhakti comes because of misunderstanding the intermediate steps in bhakti as if that is the goal. Okay. So if you analyze the arguments about bhakti, like even here, right, some of the questions are, oh, but then people, do all kinds of bad things in the name of bhakti. Now, that is not the bhakti we are talking about here. So, if you look at the arguments, most of the time, it is because of wrong definition of bhakti, considering what is not bhakti as if that is bhakti, or considering the intermediate stages of bhakti as bhakti. So once we understand what is bhakti, what is real bhakti, what is not real bhakti, we can just discard that everything that is not real bhakti, anything that is kamya bhakti, just discard. Anything, so when we say bhakti, bhakti means matparaha. God is the goal, world is not the goal. Now, Without that assumption, you don't even need to consider that as bhakti. So unless God is the goal and world is not the goal, it is not bhakti. And that itself will put an end to almost all the arguments that people have about bhakti. So keep this as the key. Bhakti means God is the goal, world is not the goal. Now start from there, and none of the other arguments and disputes and everything will automatically lose their validity. So there is scope for diversity, for the way to express bhakti, the way to practice bhakti. In this chapter only we will see all that. And aniyatatvat. Aniyatatvat means it cannot be concluded based on reason, because bhakti is not something intellectual. Bhakti is something which has to be experienced, right? Bhakti is something which has to be experienced. It is not an intellectual argument. It is something to be experienced in the heart. So no argument is of any use. Bhakti shastrani mananiyani tad udbodhaka karmani karaniyani. So the scriptures on devotion should be reflected upon, and the practices that arouse devotion should be performed. So we have to listen to the scriptures, Bhagavatam, Narada Bhakti Sutra, Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. So all these things we have to read and reflect upon, right? Because that is a basically satsanga, right? Satsanga, when we say satsanga, sadhu sanga, if you go to a sadhu, they will only talk about bhakti. They will talk about the Lord. They'll talk about the various practices. So sadhu sangha is basically shastra sangha through the mouth of the sadhus. And when we don't have the luxury or the convenience of sadhu sangha in person, we can listen to lectures online and such things. And when that also is, we want to change, we can pick up a book and read. So these are all various forms of sadhu sangha only, right? When we read the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, it is Sri Ramakrishna himself who is talking to us. So that is sadhu sangha. Right? So the scriptures on devotion should be read and reflected upon. And just reading and hearing is not sufficient. You have to sit and meditate. So you have to do practices that arouse devotion. So we have seen basic practices that arouse devotion, right? One is serve the world as offering to Ishvara, do dana, and at least minimum morning and evening sit for 10-15 minutes minimum and chant the name of the Lord. Chanting the name of the Lord is the easiest to be done. And if you have got mantra diksha from a guru, the guru would have given you the procedure, how to meditate, how to chant the mantra, Ishtadevata. You follow that. Till you get a guru, no problem. You don't need to wait. You just pick up whatever mantra you like and you chant. And if you are loudly, you chant some bhajan and chant some stotra. And in the mind, while meditation, you just chant your guru mantra or whatever mantra you have chosen mentally. Don't worry too much about meditation, this, that, and all. Close your eyes, mentally keep chanting the mantra repeatedly. That's all that you need to do. Meditation will come automatically. You don't need to do any special meditation practices beyond that. Right? So you can imagine a golden yellow light in the center of your chest, right? So in the center of a lotus, you imagine a golden yellow light, and with that visualization, mentally keep chanting your mantra. That's all that is needed. And that will automatically lead to all the other higher, all the further experiences and practices, everything will come. Even if you don't have a guru, start practicing. Start practicing and looking at your sincerity, God will send you a guru. So you have no excuse, right? So scriptures you have to study and reflect upon, and practices that arouse devotion should be performed. Which scripture should I study? If you ask, just read Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna and Bhagavad Gita. Two are more than sufficient. Then again, the question will come, there are so many commentaries, so many translations of Bhagavad Gita. Which one should I read? The easiest is Swami Tapasyananda's translation in English, or the same thing, or in Tamil, if you say Ashutoshanji's is there. And that is pretty good. It is called Bhagavad Gita, the Scripture of Mankind, published by Ramakrishna Math, Chennai, Swami Tapasyananda's book. That is the beautiful book on Gita, right from a beginner up to quite advanced. That book is sufficient to serve all the purposes of your study of Gita. That one book is enough. Tapasyananji's book, Bhagavad Gita, Scripture of Mankind, and Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, right? So these two books are enough as scriptures. Other scriptures, other books you can read if you are interested, but these two should be more than enough. And even in Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, if you find it too much, there is the condensed, the abridged version, right? So in Tamil, it is called Amuda Molihal Thirattu. In English, it is called abridged edition. It's a small book with some selected chapters from the Gospel. The important chapters are selected and given in that book. Even that is sufficient because that is more concentrated and condensed. So that is it. And practice, do this much, right? So if you have taken mantra diksha from a guru, follow whatever the guru has given, right? Till then you can follow, just repeat the name of the Lord. And this, whatever I told you, like there is again stressed here, Sukha Dukkha Icha Labha Adi Tyakte Kale Pratikshayamane Kshana Ardhamapi Vyartham Na Neyam. Right? Sukha Dukkha Icha Labha Adi Tyakte. Right? So, having renounced pleasure, pain, desire, and gain, etc. So, you want to follow the spiritual life, so you are ready to renounce everything. Now, if you say, oh, I don't have a guru, I have not got any mantra diksha yet, or which book should I read, I am confused. These are all excuses. So, he says, Kale pratikshemane kshanam ardhamapi vyartham na neyam. So, even half a kshana, half a ardham means half. Kshana ardham api, even half a second. Vyartham means waste. So, don't waste even half a second, right? Waiting for the right time, waiting for the right person, things like that, right? So, keep doing, keep going. A lot of people would say, oh, today I'm not in a mood to meditate. Now, don't wait for the mood to meditate to come. Okay? If you don't have the mood to meditate, at least do the minimum. Chant the name of the Lord. You don't need any mood for that. Right? Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. You can keep chanting. You don't need any concentration. You don't need any mood for just chanting the name of the Lord, right? And if you once you get the mood, then you can chant mentally. And then once your mood is still more strong, you can chant your mantra mentally. So don't waste time. Don't wait for the right external condition or internal condition, right? Don't say, oh, I have got so much of work. What shall I do? Fine. If you have guests at home and if you have to do a lot of cooking, while cooking, keep chanting. Don't waste that time. While doing some exercise in the gym, keep chanting. Don't waste that time. So even half a second, don't waste, right? Keep chanting the name of the Lord. The more and more you chant the name of the Lord, your mind will become more and more pure and it will become more and more ready for meditation. So don't waste even half a second. So he says, don't wait for the right mood and things like that. Just keep going, right? So Krishna says in the Gita, Shanai Kshanai Ruparamed Buddhya Driti Grihitaya Atma Samstam Manah Kritva Na Kinchitapi Chintayet. So it is the nature of the mind to wander, right? Then mind will wander. It is the nature of that mind. But then don't worry, right? Yato yato nischarati manas chanchalam astiram. So whenever the mind wanders, tatas tato niyam yaitat atman yeva vasham nayet. Right? So whenever the mind wanders, don't worry, just gently bring it back and start doing japa. So whenever you find that, oh, your mind has wandered, no problem. Bring back the mind and continue to do japa. That's all that you need to do. And Shanai Shanai Ruparamed. So slowly and slowly, your mind will start getting to enjoy chanting the mantra, and also your concentration will improve. So don't wait for the right mood. Don't wait for the right external circumstances. Don't wait. Don't waste time. Just start doing, keep doing. Everything will be fine. Okay. That is what it is like, saying I will go and take bath in the sea after the waves have settled down. The waves will never settle down, right? It is the nature of the sea to have waves. So if you say I will take bath in the sea after the waves have settled down, it will never happen. A lot of people say, oh, there is time for bhakti. It is all for old age. In the old age, sitting and standing only is a big problem. You cannot sit in one place for half an hour. Now, what bhakti can you do in old age? Everything has to be done when you are young only, right? So don't waste your youth in unnecessary worldly pursuits, right? Do your duties, but don't waste waste time on other pursuits. Do your duties and do your job and do bhakti. Focus on bhakti. Go on pilgrimage. Go and do lot of japa. Everything you can do in your young age much better than in old age. So it doesn't matter at whatever age you are, this is the time to be up and doing, right? Don't waste time. Don't wait for old age. Worldly people will say there is a time for everything. Worldly people will say like later you can do bhakti and all. Now, if you see such people, suppose there might be a 60-year-old or 75-year-old person who comes and tells you, oh, why are you going to mutt? Now only there is an old age for that. Now, such people will be people who don't even go to mutt, even in their old age. So, such people don't listen to the words of such people, right? So, they also will not go. They will not allow others also to go. They are all just wasting their life. Don't worry about them. In your youth, when the time is ripe, now start doing bhakti. Okay. Now, what are the virtues to be cultivated? Ahimsa, Satya, Shaucha, Daya, Astikya, Adi, Charitrani, Paripalaniyani. So, all these things have to be nurtured. What are they? Ahimsa, non-violence. Satya, truth. Shaucha, purity. Daya, compassion. Astikya, faith. Adi means etc. Right? So these are all the virtues, charitrani. Right? Now these have to be nurtured. Now in the Gita only, there are several places where lists of these kind of virtues are given. Right? So in the 16th chapter, there is a Daivi Sampat. A list is given in the 16th chapter called Daivi Sampat. And in the 12th chapter, there is a list as the Parabhakta Lakshana. And Sthita Prajna Lakshana is there in the 2nd chapter. 13th chapter, there is a list of for the Jnana Yoga Sadhanani. So like this, there are lists of virtues in multiple places in the Gita also. And Patanjali Maharishi has organized that into Yama and Niyama, 5 Yamas and 5 Niyamas. And Shankaracharya has organized it into the Sadhana Chatushtayam, right? The 4 sadhanas. Like this, multiple teachers have organized the list of these virtues. So all of them, finally, if you see, they will give the same list. Satya, Ahimsa, Brahmacharya, Asteya, Aparigraha, Shaucha, Santosha, Tapas, Swadhyaya, Ishvara Pranidhana. These are the 10 which Patanjali says. The same thing you will find everywhere. Okay. So you can pick up anywhere, one or more of them, memorize the list, and ensure that you are following all of them. Right? And this will prepare the mind for the bhakti. This will give 2 things. Following all these virtues will give 2 things. Externally, they will give you punya, and by that punya, you will be able to get satsanga, and by that satsanga, you will be able to get the knowledge. And internally, they will give chitta shuddhi. Chitta shuddhi means freedom from strong likes and dislikes. Freedom from raga dvesha is called chitta shuddhi. So these will give chitta shuddhi internally, and they will give punya externally, and by these 2, our spiritual life will progress. So these are essential in spiritual life. Sarvada sarvabhavena nischintaihi bhagavan eva bhajaniyah. Right? So always, in always, right? Always with respect to time, right? Sarvada. Sarvabhavena, in all means, right? Nischintaihi, without worrying, Bhagavan eva bhajaniyah. You should worship only God. What do you mean by Bhagavan eva? Bhagavan eva means have Ishvara as the goal. Right? Doesn't matter which form of God you worship. If you see the entire Narada Bhakti Sutra, he doesn't mention Vishnu, Shiva, or any of the deities. Right? And even when he mentions Shiva, it is the meaning of auspiciousness, not as Bhagavan Shiva, or Bhagavan Vishnu, or Hanuman, or like Ganapati or Kumara. He doesn't mention any names of deities. So it is very generic. It is applicable to any deity that we want to pick up and worship. But what is important is, when we say Bhagavan eva bhajaniyah, don't have worldly goals as the goal of life. Money, wealth, relationships, pleasure, these are not the goal of life. Right? Don't pursue them. Pursue only Bhagavan. Pursue only Ishvara. So Bhagavan eva bhajaniyam. means God is the goal. Mat paraha. Krishna tells in the Gita in multiple places this word mat paraha. Right? So God is the goal, world is not the goal. Anityam asukam lokam imam prapya bhajasvamam. Right? This world is anityam. There is no security in this world. This world is asukam. There is no pleasure in this world. Imam prapya, now that you have come here, bhajasvamam, you worship the Lord. The Lord is the only way to, is the only goal, and that we have to be very clear. So, sarvada, always, sarva bhavena, in all means, free from worry, worship the Lord. So, continuous nama japa, continuous remembrance of the Lord. This is what is needed. Now, Sankirtyamanaha, actually there are two versions of the text. Some places it is Saha Kirtyamanaha, some places it is Sankirtyamanaha. Anyway, both of them convey the meaning in line with the intent of Narada Bhakti Sutra. So either of them can be taken. So Sankirtyamanaha Shigram eva Avirbhavati Anubhavayati Bhaktan, right? Bhaktan, so to the devotees, right? So who are the devotees? Whatever is mentioned in the previous so far, right? So to the devotees who have Ishvara as the goal and who engage in doing Namajapa continuously, right? Being glorified, right? Sankirtyamanaha, the Lord being glorified. Shigram eva Avirbhavati, very soon he manifests. And Anubhavayati, he makes the devotees experience him. Now, when you say Shigram eva Avirbhavati, what do you mean by Shigram eva Avirbhavati? So, if you take, for example, a person becomes a doctor or an engineer, a profession, a secular profession you have taken up, suppose. Now, how many years does it take to become a doctor or an engineer? So, if you want to become an engineer, minimum it takes how much? Pre-KG, LKG, UKG, 3 years. Then first standard to 12th standard, another 12 years, so 15 years, plus another 4 years of your BE or a BTech. So totally about 19 years it takes to become an engineer. And if you want to become a doctor, it will take another 6 years more, right? By the time you cannot, usually you cannot stop with just bachelor's. So you have to take masters and MD or MS or whatever. So overall, like it will take another 4 to 6 years more. So typically to become a doctor, you need 25 years of education. To become an engineer, you need at least some 19, 20 years of education. Now, compared to that, Shigram eva Avirbhavati. The Lord will manifest very soon. If you start practicing this, right, keep repeating the name of the Lord 24/7, read the scriptures, listen to the Bhakti literature, do meditation at least 15 minutes, 30 minutes, morning and evening. If you do all this, it doesn't take as long as it takes for worldly pursuits. It takes much less than that, right? Very soon, Shigram eva Avirbhavati. And it is not just abstract, Anubhavayati. It is a tangible experience, right? Krishna tells very clearly in the Gita, right? Buddhi grahyam. It is something which is tangible. Buddhi grahyam atindriyam, right? But it is not sensory. It is very, very tangible experience. Bhakti is tangible. Bhakti is experienceable. Bhakti is true, right? So you have to get into it and then you will see for yourself. and Shigram eva avirbhavati, right? Same thing Krishna says even in the Gita also, right? So very soon I will manifest. Trisatyasya bhaktireva gariyasi. So towards eternal truth, bhakti is the greatest. Bhaktireva gariyasi. Twice it is mentioned to emphasize. So Trisatya. Trisatya means Trikala Satya. So it can be considered as Trikala Satya, that which is true in all the three times, past, present, and future, which means which is eternal. So Trisatya means the Trikala Satya, which means eternal truth. Now Trisatyasya, right? So towards that eternal truth, Bhakti eva gariyasi. Bhakti is the greatest path, right? So that we have already seen in 2 days back, how bhakti is higher than the other three yogas, Jnana Yoga, Karma Yoga, and Dhyana Yoga, how they are all means to bhakti. Bhakti is the end. And also bhakti is easier. So we have seen those discussions we have already had in detail. So towards the eternal truth, bhakti is the greatest path. This shloka gives a list of 11 ways of manifestations of bhakti, right? So all these things are, many of the are already there in the gospel. We would have seen in the gospel, right? Various bhavas, and Sri Ramakrishna keeps talking about these. So here a list is given so that it is easy for us to discuss. Guna Mahatmya Asakti. So love for singing the glories of the Lord. Right? Rupa Asakti, love for the form of the Lord. Then Puja Asakti, love for worshipping the Lord. Smarana Asakti, love for thinking about the Lord. Then Dasya Asakti, love for being servant of the Lord. Sakhya Asakti, love for being friend of the Lord. Vatsalya Asakti, love for being parent of the Lord. Kanta Asakti, love for being wife of the Lord. Now this is something sometimes creates confusion. Doesn't matter your physical gender, your emotional gender towards the Lord, it is very easy to assume the attitude of a wife, or so that is Bharya. So that is the Kanta Asakti. And then Atma Nivedana Asakti, love of surrender to the Lord. Tanmayata Asakti, love of complete absorption in the Lord. And Parama Viraha Asakti, love of longing for the Lord in separation. Rupa Ekada Api, one of these, Ekadashada Bhavati. These 11 forms. Ekadasha means 11. Ekadashada means 11 forms. Bhavati is manifested. So all these are the common manifestations we see of bhakti. Right? Now, so there are different examples from the lives of various saints who have predominantly manifested many of these things. So those are all there. And Paramaviraha Asakti is what we see in the life of Sri Ramakrishna, how he was before he got the vision of Kali, right? He used to cry, and he used to, at the end of every day, he used to cry, oh, one more day has passed and still I have not seen. And another thing, like if you look at Sri Ramakrishna's life and his devotion to Kali, it is called Vyakulata. And Swami Dayatmananji calls it as Vyakulata Yoga, right? So basically, like extreme longing for the Lord as a path. So that is what here it says Parama Viraha Ashakti. And even in the Bhagavatam, the gopis and Radha, so they all had this kind of a love for Krishna. And if you see the life of Sri Ramakrishna, like he was sticking to truth so strongly. And when he was the priest of the Kali temple, now the thought came into his mind, is this Mrinmayi or Chinmayi? Right? Is Kali made of clay? Is it a mere clay image? Or Chinmayi? Is Kali conscious? Now this was the conflict in his mind. Right? Mrinmayi or Chinmayi. Now, if it was Mrinmayi, if Kali was not conscious, if the Lord is not receiving these, then all the puja, whatever is being done, is false, right? Is asatya. The puja is, whatever is being done is asatya, it is empty, and it is a falsehood, right? Whereas if the Lord is Chinmayi, if the Kali is really there, then he is not able to experience it tangibly. So this was the conflict. And he, being a very, very truthful person, his entire life was for truth. He could not withstand this conflict. So he prayed to Kali, "O mother, are you Chinmayi or are you Mrinmayi?" Right? So if you are Chinmayi, manifest. I'm not able to see you. I'm not able to talk to you. Give me proof that you are Chinmayi. So that was the longing of Sri Ramakrishna. And finally, it went to that extent that one day he decided that no point in living without having this question resolved. Right? Without knowing whether Kali is Chinmayi or Mrinmayi, without this question, without the answer to this question, what is the point in living at all? And he grabbed the sword in the temple and he swung it over his neck. Sri Ramakrishna, because he found there is no point in living when he has not realized God. So he swung the sword around his neck, and at that moment, Kali appeared and the sword fell out of his hand, and he saw the Chinmaya Rupa of Kali. And from that point onwards, he had continuous understanding of that this entire universe is Ishvara only. It is Kali who has manifested as this entire universe. And he also saw the form of Kali continuously moving around with him. So basically, Sri Ramakrishna longing for the Lord. Parama Viraha Asakti, right? That is what he practiced. But actually, if you look at it, a person does not actually practice it intentionally. It is something which happens naturally. We have all these classifications only for, understanding the various moods of bhakti. But a person does not say, "Oh, okay, I will practice Dasya Bhakti. Oh, I will go and practice Vatsalya Bhakti." It is something which happens naturally depending upon the temperament of the person. So you worship Ishvara and it will manifest through all these forms. Right? The next sutra says, "Iti evam vadanti jana jalpa nirbhayaha ekamataha kumara vyasa shuka shandilya garga vishnu kaundinya shesha uddhava aruni bali hanumat vibhishana Adayah Bhakti Acharyaha. So, a list of teachers of Bhakti. Bhakti Acharyaha is given, and it is said that all these teachers have Ekamataha, unanimous opinion of whatever has been taught so far. So, what is the unanimous opinion? Whatever we have seen so far as Narada Bhakti Sutra, this idea, whatever ideas have been discussed so far, all these people have unanimous opinion about this, right? And they are fearless in declaring it to the world. They don't worry about the comments, what will people say, what will people think. They don't worry about all that. Of course, sadhus, sadhakas, they will have the right opinion only, so they don't need to fear about them. But they are not fear of, they are not afraid of even the ignorant worldly people. Jana, here Jana means ignorant worldly people. Jana Jalpa. Jalpa means rumors, comments, criticisms. That is called Jalpa. Nirbhayaha, without fear. So all the people without any fear, Jana Jalpa Nirbhayaha, they are of the unanimous opinion of what is taught here. For example, Vibhishana. Vibhishana fearlessly, he told even in the Sabha of Ravana that Rama is Ishvara, Rama Bhakti is the purpose of life, you are doing mistake. So he was not afraid of Ravana to tell the truth. Or Bali, right? Mahabali. Even when Sukracharya told this is Vishnu who has come in the form of Vamana, Bali was fearless. He went even against the word of his own guru. Right? So like this, different people have expressed Nirbhaya by against the comments of ignorant worldly people, and they were established in this bhakti. Prahlada did not obey his father. Mahabali did not obey his guru. Vibhishana did not obey his elder brother. Right? So this way, worldly relationships are not an obstruction to bhakti. You can take these examples of the acharyas and fearlessly, ignoring the comments of ignorant worldly people, go ahead and involve yourself in bhakti. Right? That is what is given in this sutra. The last sutra says, Yaha idam Narada proktam Shiva Anushasanam Vishwasiti Shraddhate Saha Bhaktiman Bhavati Saha Preshtham Labhate. So, those people, right, who Yaha idam Narada proktam, as told by Narada here, right? Shiva Anushasanam. Here Shiva does not mean Bhagavan Shiva. Here Shiva means auspicious. The word Shiva means auspicious. Similarly, the word Vishnu means all-pervading. So a lot of places the word Vishnu will be used, but actually the meaning would be for all-pervading. So Shiva here, Shiva Anushasanam means auspicious teaching. Right? So auspicious teaching, Vishwasiti Shraddhate, practices with faith. So here, Shraddhate, like with faith, Vishwasiti, right? Practices with faith. Saha Bhaktiman Bhavati, he becomes a devotee, right? And Saha Preshtham Labate. Actually, in the Sanskrit, there's a spelling mistake. It should be Tha, the next Tha, right? So in English, it is right. So saha preshtham labate, right? So he attains the beloved Lord. Preshta, preshta means beloved, right? Saha preshtham labate. So he attains the beloved Lord. So this is the Narada Bhakti Sutra. So with this, we have completed the 84 sutras of Narada. So this chapter, what have we seen? Argument about bhakti is useless. Bhakti should be practiced and experienced. No point in talking, no point in too much of arguments. Just start practicing and experience bhakti for yourself. And it is something to be practiced and experienced. Like, don't avoid unnecessary, useless talk. And to be able, for bhakti to be effective, virtues should be cultivated. And as we saw, why should virtues be cultivated? Satya, Himsa, Brahmacharya, Steya, Parigraha, all those. Now, internally, they create Chitta Shuddhi, purity of mind, and externally, they create Punya. And by Punya, we will get Satsanga, Guru Sangha, and then Guru will give us the instructions, and following the instructions, we will be able to attain Ishvara. So, for that, we need Punya. To get Punya, we have to follow virtues, right? And God should be worshipped, and God will respond back. Very soon, God responds back, right? So, compared to worldly pursuits, actually, pursuit of Ishvara is much easier and the results come much sooner. And not only that, as we progress in spiritual life, the results keep coming. In Gita, Krishna tells very beautifully, Neha Bikrama Nasosti Pratyavayo na Vidyate Swalpam Apyasya Dharmasya Trayate Mahato Bhayat. So, in the worldly pursuits, na iha neha abhikrama nashaha asti. So, in the worldly pursuits, suppose if you do something halfway, you don't get the results. So the example that Bhagavan Shankara gives is, suppose a person wants to do agriculture. He initially sows the seeds and lets water. The seeds start growing into a plant. And halfway through, he stops watering the plants. Then the plants will die. So the effort he put initially will go waste. Or let us say, even if they have plants are fully grown, if he does not spend the effort in harvesting and separating the grain from the chaff, then also the full result will not be got. So, but in bhakti, in all the spiritual practices, it is not so. Na iha neha abhikrama nashosti. So, just because you have not pursued it till the end, the effort does not go waste in case of bhakti. And pratyavayona vidyate. Now, you won't have any side effect also, right? Like suppose if you, in case of a medicine, for example, if the doctor tells you, take this medicine for 5 days. Now, if you take the medicine for 2 days and you find, okay, the symptoms have gone, if you stop the medicine, then it can become worse, because again it will resume and now it will not respond to the old medicine. So you have actually made the condition worse. This is exactly this example is also given by Shankaracharya in his Gita Bhashya. He says, suppose if a doctor has prescribed you some medicines and some diet. Now, without following fully, it will actually give the side effects, which can be worse than before. So that is called pratyavaya. So, but in case of bhakti and spiritual practices, there is no pratyavaya. There is no side effect. There is no bad side effect. And in fact, this is the question which Arjuna asks in the 6th chapter. He says, suppose if I go and start pursuing the bhakti, the spiritual path, and for that you are saying I have to restrain from indulging in sensual pleasure. If I don't go till the end, if then will I not be left with neither this nor this, right? I have given up pursuit of sensory pleasure because I will be able to get the supreme benefit of bhakti. But if I die before I get it, then wouldn't I have wasted my time? Neither world nor the Ishvara. Would I be left with neither of them? That's the question which Arjuna asks. And Krishna says, like, no, no, no. Nahi kalyana kriti durgadim tata gachati. Whatever small amount, that amount you will, that benefit you will get. And in the next birth, you will continue from wherever you have left. There is no wastage of any effort in this case, right? So, neha bikrama nasosti pratyavayona vidyate swalpam apyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. Like even a small amount of effort, to that much you would have progressed spiritually. And even if you stop there, you will continue from wherever you have left in the next birth. So, unlike worldly pursuits, in worldly pursuits, you have to put in the effort, you should not miss any step, and you have to pursue till the end. Otherwise, whatever effort you have put so far will become waste. Now, that is not the case in case of spiritual pursuit, in case of bhakti. How much ever effort you put, that much progress you will have. And you can continue the progress life after life and nothing goes waste. Nahi kalyana kriti durgadim tata gachati. Right? Nothing is lost. And the person who pursues this will never go to have any side effect. So that is what Krishna assures in multiple places in the Gita. And that is what here also. Basically, the spiritual life is much easier and much more beneficial than worldly pursuits. So that is what we see here, right? God should be worshipped and God will respond back. It is very, very tangible, and it is, you can see the results, right? The right effort you put in, you can see the results. And more effort you put in, more results you will get. And even if you stop in between, you won't lose what you have got. You will continue from wherever you have left whenever you resume. So that way, this is a much better pursuit compared to worldly pursuits, right? And various attitudes towards Ishvara were discussed, and how unanimously all teachers say this, and we don't need to worry about the jalpa of worldly people, all these criticisms and comments by worldly people and ignorant people. Don't be afraid of them, ignore them, and keep pursuing the Lord, and don't wait, right? Also, we saw, don't waste time. This is the time, take up and pursue. And those who practice this Naradiya Bhakti will attain God. So, the Rishi Vakya is there, and the Lord will fulfill Rishi Vakya. Satyam Vidatum Nijabritya Bhashitam. The Lord says. He says, I fulfill the words of devotees. So Narada has assured, and surely the Lord will fulfill Narada's words, and he will make Narada's words as true. So if we practice as per Naradiya Bhakti, surely the Lord will bless us. So we have seen all these topics. Supreme love was defined, then renunciation was talked about, and then various exemplars of divine love was described, and then bhakti as the highest goal of human life was described, and then how to attain supreme love, and then satsanga was emphasized upon, and then preparatory disciplines, and then various forms of divine love, and finally virtues and worship of the Lord. So these are the topics covered. Summary of it is what Sri Ramakrishna says in the 5 points. Seek holy company, discriminate between permanent and transient, constantly chant the name of the Lord, do all your duties with detachment like the servant maid in a rich man's house, and meditate in solitude occasionally. So these are all the ways. Any questions people can ask?
கோகுல்ஜி நமஸ்தே.
Namaste,
இப்போ
ma.
நம்ம தனிமையில அப்படி லிவிங் சாலிட்யூட் சொன்னீங்க, அப்படி தனிமையில எல்லாம் போக முடியாத ஒரு சிச்சுவேஷன்ல இருந்தா பண்றது. What will you advise?
So, see, solitude is in the mind. எல்லாம் மனசுல தான் இருக்கு. So, ஸ்ரீராம் கிருஷ்ணா 3 விதத்துல சொல்றாரு இல்லையா? மனே, கொனே, வனே. So, manena in the mind. Constantly repeat the name of the Lord in the mind. So now that itself is satsanga, that itself is solitude. Mental solitude. And in a corner of your house, in your puja room, every day, morning 15 minutes or half an hour, evening 15 minutes or half an hour, you sit and meditate in solitude. Right? Now, Sri Ram Krishna gives another solution to your problem. He says, all the members of the family will wake up maybe at 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock. You wake up 1 or 2 hours early, then you have solitude. No one can stop you from that solitude. Before the people in your house wake up, you wake up and you do your spiritual practices, and you will have all the solitude that you need. And then after, when the members of the family wake up, you help them, serve them, do everything.
Thank you, Thambi, for the excellent guiding message.
It's all there in the gospel. Whatever I'm telling you is just repeating from the gospel only. Sri Ram Krishna answers all these questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Gokulmuthu ji. Thank you.
Thank you, ma. Any other questions from anyone?
Yes, Jai Ram Krishna.
Jai Ram Krishna.
It's two book, one Ramakrishna Gospel and another book, one Bhagavad Gita.
Bhagavad Gita. So in English, you can use Swami Tapasyananda's book. And if you want Tamil, Swami Ashutoshananda's book is there. Both actually have the same cover, that yellow color cover. That is what is both the books have.
Okay. There's one more. This mane, kone, vane, just a simple.
Mane means in the mind. Kone means in a corner. And in the corner of the house, which means in the puja room. Vane means in the forest, which means you go to the ashram and you spend some time there.
Okay. Forest instead of ashram also.
Vane means ashram.
Okay.
Away from house is ashram.
Right.
So that is why all our ashrams, they conduct spiritual retreats for that. So whenever there is a spiritual retreat, go and participate in the spiritual retreat. That is what is called as Vane. Tvameva mata cha pita tvameva, tvameva bandhuscha sakha tvameva, tvameva vidya dravinam tvameva, tvameva sarvam mama deva deva. Shri Ramakrishna. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat. Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu. Jai Ram Krishna, Jai Ram Krishna, Jai Ram Krishna.